Superflare strike. Earth risks being plunged into darkness in a major superflare event. This is today's article on Express UK by Charlotte Davis. A superflare burst of energy lashed out from the sun could strike Earth and cause parts of the planet to be plunged into darkness for as long as several months. This is what one theorist has warned. It's not only him. I just saw a video concerning what happened to us about 12,500 years ago by Graham Hancock. And he believes that, well, not only him, there are various people that believe that we could have been struck by part of a comet that brought a catastrophe, a geological great earth change, geological changes from tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, boiling atmosphere, whole lakes and rivers and seas boiling off, and then freezing as they went up into the air, and the dust from the volcanic ash, creating a volcanic nuclear winter, changing the temperature of the planet. But this thing here now has to do with the solar cycle and a solar flare hitting us directly, or to such a point that it would cause a blackout with the surge of power. So this has happened to us before in the turn of the century, the Carrington event that took place, and whatever was around these solar flares that were around before that. Of course, mankind didn't have electricity and in order to power his needs. They were basically living like the Quakers are living now, with no electricity. And they have their own source of water, and they know how to clean water, they know how to farm, they know how to tend to their everyday needs without having to go to an ATM or the supermarket to get their needs, or having to work in an office with a specialized job. Unfortunately, in this day and age, as Graham Hancock pointed out, we live in an age of specialization. Nobody knows how to do everything in order to survive. We know just a little bit of some part of a job. And we go to the supermarket every few days to get what we need. We open the tap and there's clean water running out to cook or to shower, to flush our toilets. We go to the gas pump in order to fill up our car tank, and that's how we get around. We don't have a horse or a mule, and most of us, I guess, in the city don't even have a bicycle to ride around with our own leg power. And so it would be a problem if we had a major blackout, transformers burning out, power lines burning up. That means that it could take days, weeks, or even months for things to repair. And from what some people estimate, we only have about 3 to 7 days of food in our house. Now, okay, food, fine, but what about water? How can we live without water? Where would we get our water from? Unless we live near a beautiful stream with fresh, crystal clear water, or a lake with fresh water. Again, the lakes are not fresh water. You have to filter them because they've got little microbes and things in them. We don't even know how to clean our water. Do we know how to clean our water? I remember at the church where I volunteer, that's the little video I have at the end of every video, I looked up how to filter water, and I brought them a couple of buckets of sand. And we poured water into the sand in order to have it come out clean. I don't think anybody was impressed by that, or even had the patience for that. And we also did the same thing with keeping food cool. Again, you use sand, and you pour water in the sand, and you wrap, let's say you have a bottle of juice or milk or something, you cover the whole bottle with that wet sand, and it tries to keep the sand cool, cooler than it would in the warm air outside in the room, or the regular air temperature. So again, they weren't really that impressed because, they didn't have a need to learn that. They would just go back home and take a bottle of cool water out of the refrigerator and drink. So most of us don't know how to fend for ourselves, but let's go into this now. Superflares are bursts of charged particles, solar energy, and cosmic radiation from the surface of the star. Geological and anthropological theorist Randall Carlson of geocosmicrex.com, geocosmicrex, told RT that what would happen if a superflare struck our planet, and he warned, power plants will go down, substations would go down, transmission lines, cell phone towers would go down. There would be pretty much a collapse of the electronic grid system that we all depend on. And we see what recently Venezuela has gone through, and other Latin American countries that have had blackouts. Of course, a lot of people believe that that's because of the fact that they have very cheap power, don't have enough income to support their infrastructures. And the same thing happened to, I think somebody was trying to do something with Russia. I don't know if they had a blackout or not, or if they caught the hack or something. I have no idea. But, it would be a problem. Now, he said it could last anywhere, depending on the severity of the event, anywhere from days to weeks and even months to get back online. Months. How would you be able to live without water for months? Now, okay, we're all hitting here. You're seeing, oh no, she's fear-mongering again. Okay, you're sitting in the city. Where would you go and get clean water? You go to the Hudson. Okay, go to the Hudson. If you're living, my house was near Bayside. We were like 2 blocks from Douglaston Bay in Queens, right? I'd rush 2 blocks to get some water from Douglaston Bay. Maybe I could bring a couple of bottle of water back, and filter it through some of the soil that's in my backyard. How's that? How does that sound? And whatever comes out, I drink. And then I get a couple of buckets and hope it rains, do a couple of rain dances, and hope it rains so that the bucket's filled with clean water. And try and drink that. So, okay, there's my drinking water for a couple of days. Then what? You have to wash and clean, otherwise you're going to stink to high heaven. You have to cook some food, maybe boil a carrot or a potato or a package of rice or I'm living it as I'm telling you here. I'm imagining what I would do if I'm living it. Okay. So, I would not be the only one. And then, I remember I had visited Turkey a couple of years back. And Turkey is one of the most Western civilized and cultured cities of Turkey. I've not gone into the eastern part of Turkey, but they told me that Istanbul, Constantinople of Turkey, is the most westernized city of Turkey. Okay. I've been there 3 times. I didn't go to any other part of Turkey. So I was surprised that there were all these men, young and old, on every bridge. There's a lot of rivers in Turkey. There's a lot of these nice low bridges. They're just enough for cars and some very light trucks. And there were men on both sides of the railings of the bridge. And they were fishing with fishing poles. Filled with men fishing with fishing poles. And we asked our car driver, our taxi driver, who spoke some English, thank goodness, because most Turks don't speak English. At least when we went, that was around that was 2005, 14 years ago. Anyway, time goes by fast. And we asked him, why are they all fishing on all these bridges? And he said, well, they have to fish. If they don't fish, they don't eat anything today. Can you imagine? That's how much poverty they have. That's in the affluent city of Istanbul. I can imagine if it's that bad there, I can imagine what it is in the eastern parts. I guess they have a goat, they have a cow, maybe at least from that they can get their milk and their yogurt and their butter and their cheese. And if they have a couple of chickens, their chicken would lay an egg, maybe 1 egg every 2 days. So if they have 10 chickens, they can have 5 eggs every 2 days. So that's not bad. So no, every day they would have 5 eggs. That's not bad. So if you have a couple of chickens and a goat or a cow, that's just great. They can munch on the grass in your garden. But most of us don't have things like that. Now, he goes on to say, everything that you depend on, your refrigerator is gone, your air conditioning is gone, pumping stations are gone, and to be down, and therefore you won't even be able to flush your toilet. For portions of the earth, it would be like going back to the Dark Ages, again, because we become so dependent. The thousands of satellites that we depend on for our global telecommunications, they could be severely damaged. Okay, look, we would be worse than the Dark Ages. We would be worse than the first pilgrims that came to America. Even the American Indians, how they communicated with each other? Even in Africa. With drums, with bird calls, and also with smoke signals. They even had smoke signals in ancient Greece. Smoke signals, because the other ones that had guards guarding the cities, they would see the smoke signals from far away and they would know what it means. Like, we invite your king to come for the marriage feast of our daughter. Or, there's an enemy at the gates, be careful because they're coming towards you or something. Whatever. They would communicate with each other. They had communication with other means. We don't have anything. Maybe if somebody had a blowhorn, they would go out and, become the leaders of the community if they had a blowhorn, megaphone or whatever. So what do we know? Do we know how to protect ourselves and how to fend for ourselves? I doubt it. I told you, living in Bayside, I would just go down 2 blocks, get some water from Douglaston Bay. That's how to start it. Anyway, he says it could be a major event. In 2014, NASA warned there was as much of a 12% chance of a solar storm similar to the 1859 Carrington event between 2012 and 2022. A 12% chance that we may get hit like that. That's terrible. On the morning of September 1st, 1859, as amateur astronomer Richard Carrington sketched an unusual cluster of sunspots, our sun erupted in a fierce flash. An unfathomable amount of energy stored in the sun's magnetic field was released, propelling incredible amounts of energy on a collision course with Earth. Carrington had witnessed a solar flare, and the subsequent coronal mass ejection that would hit Earth 17 hours later resulted in a geomagnetic storm of such strength that it could become worldwide news. Mr. Carrington warned, quote, "This is a very real thing. It's not hypothetical. It is not science fiction," end quote. Until recently, astronomers believed superflares were only produced by young inactive stars spewing energy. But researchers in the University of Colorado Boulder, CU Boulder, in the United States fear older and quieter stars like our sun, which is in the middle of its life, by the way, can produce these blasts. The shocking revelation, according to one of the researchers, is a wake-up call for everyone on the planet. Astronomers Yuta Natsu, who led a study into the dangers of superflares, said, "Our study shows that superflares are rare events, but there is some possibility that we could experience such an event in the next 100 years or so." End quote. A solar flare is when the outer layers of the sun are home to an intense magnetic field running around in lines. Occasionally, these magnetic fields will cross one another, tangle up, or move around. And when this happens, a powerful and spontaneous blast of energy erupts from the sun into outer space. And if it comes to us, that's when we have a real problem. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events, events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.